Hello everyone, and welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today we're diving into a carefully told story about two of the most recognizable names in modern Turkish television, Hazal and Çağatay. If you appreciate long-form narration that respects the line between fact and rumor while still giving you all the context, you're in the right place. Please like the video, subscribe, and consider joining to support thoughtful coverage. Now let's walk through the timeline step by step. First, the foundation. Hazal and Çağatay earned their place in viewers' hearts years ago through a series that left an imprint well beyond its finale. When a project becomes a cultural moment, the people at its center are rarely allowed to go back to anonymity. Fans remember the smallest details, glances between takes, interviews that run a few minutes long, press images where laughter looks unguarded. Bit by bit, those fragments turn into a collective memory that feels more vivid than any plotline. That's what happened here. The on-screen partnership between Hazal and Çağatay became a shorthand for a certain era of television: big emotions, sharply drawn characters, and performances that sparked constant discussion. With that context, it's easier to understand why the public conversation has never fully moved on. Every new project, every event appearance, every award night resurrects the same questions, the same comparisons, and the same wishful what-if scenarios. None of this is unusual for stars of their magnitude. The difference in this case is the sheer intensity of the audience's investment. People don't just like Hazal and Çağatay, they feel as if they participated in the story that made them household names. Now, to the present cycle. In recent weeks, a new wave of speculation has focused not on a joint project but on the possibility of renewed closeness off-screen. The phrases most often repeated, "couldn't hide his feelings," and "was looking for her," spread quickly through fan accounts and gossip pages. The wording is designed to travel, short, dramatic, and open-ended enough to invite debate. Some posts framed it as a romantic pursuit, others suggested it was simply a check-in between longtime colleagues who once shared a demanding set and a world-shaping audience. As with most fast-moving rumors, the story duplicated itself in multiple versions within days. Before we go further, it's important to place Hazal's personal life in the frame with clarity and respect. She is married to Ali Atay, a fact that has never been a secret and does not need elaboration to be meaningful. For anyone outside the industry, the simplest way to think about this is to separate roles from reality. Actors can create something deeply believable together on camera while living distinct personal lives that deserve the same privacy the rest of us expect. That line matters, and crossing it with assumptions or insinuations doesn't make a story richer. It just makes it less accurate. So how did this rumor gain traction? Part of the answer lies in the mechanics of modern fandom. An interview mention here, a shared friends event there, a photo that places two people in the same city, these create a lattice for speculation to climb. Algorithms reward engagement, and engagement often comes from the content most likely to provoke. In the absence of direct statements, people begin reading symbolism into ordinary life. A caption about gratitude becomes a secret code, a work-related follow becomes a hidden signal. An old clip, reposted, is treated as a new confession. The cycle feeds itself. Another part of the answer is the legacy of their on-screen chemistry. When a pairing is that effective, audiences can struggle to leave it at the credits. Entire communities emerged to catalog every interview, every press photo, every behind-the-scenes anecdote. These communities can be generous, fundraising for causes the actors support, amplifying new work, shutting down toxic comments, but they can also, without meaning to, blur the boundary between admiration and entitlement. When that boundary blurs, rumor steps in to fill the space that patience should occupy. What do we know, concretely? We know that Hazal and Çağatay are both busy with their own careers, each building a body of work that stands on its own. We know that their shared history on a landmark series gives any encounter between them an outsized weight in public imagination. We know that gossip pages will always choose the most dramatic headline possible, especially if it can be engineered from a sliver of ambiguity. We also know that no verified, on-the-record statement has emerged confirming a romantic storyline between them now. Without that, the only responsible posture is to treat the loudest claims as unverified while acknowledging why the conversation exists. Now let's talk about the professional layer, because it is often misunderstood. On-screen chemistry is not an accident, it's craft. It comes from rehearsal, mutual trust, and the willingness to make brave choices in character. It is planned, tested, and managed by directors, intimacy coordinators, and crews who are trained to protect boundaries. When viewers say two actors must feel something in real life because their scenes are convincing, they are actually paying a compliment to technique, just not using technical language to do it. The flip side is that those compliments can place pressure on the actors' private circles, who feel constantly compared to a fictional perfection crafted under lights, mics, and a dozen retakes. Let's return to the line about looking for her. In the friendliest interpretation, it could refer to a professional outreach, a message of congratulations, a quick hello at an event, a logistical check on overlapping schedules. In the most speculative version, it becomes a declaration of unresolved feeling. The same words support both readings. That's why wording like this survives online, it adapts to whatever the reader wants to believe. But adaptability is not proof. People who care about accuracy will always ask, who said it, in what context, and with what evidence? Absent those answers, the respectful position is to protect the real people involved from narratives they didn't choose. Which brings us to Ali Atay, who enters the conversation not as a prop in a rumor but as a person whose life does not need commentary to be legitimate. The healthiest fan response is to refuse any storyline that pits public admiration for a former co-star against respect for a spouse. Those ideas are not in conflict. You can celebrate what Hazal and Çağatay created together on screen while also recognizing that her marriage is not a subplot for your speculation. That recognition is not just ethical, it is also the surest way to keep the industry comfortable with giving audiences glimpses into process and partnership without fear of backlash. It is also worth emphasizing how both actors have typically handled noise, by prioritizing the work. When stories like this surface, some public figures fuel them to capture the algorithm's attention. Others choose silence, not because silence equals guilt, but because silence stars a rumor of oxygen. Consistent professionalism speaks louder than 1,000 comment sections. Showing up prepared, treating crews with respect, and letting finished work do the talking will always outlast a viral thread. What happens next depends, as always, on choices. If either party, or their representatives, issue a clear statement, that should set the tone and timeline. If they don't, it doesn't mean the most dramatic version of the rumor is correct, it means they are choosing not to dignify speculation. In the meantime, the best contribution fans can make is to keep discussions grounded, avoid tagging people who have not consented to be pulled into the conversation, and remember that admiration for art is not a license to manage artists' lives. To close the loop, let's summarize the arc years ago. Hazal and Çağatay built something enduring on screen. That legacy continues to ripple through fan communities, press coverage, and every new chapter in their careers. From time to time, a familiar rumor returns, that feelings remain, that one is seeking out the other, that an old partnership might open into something else. Those claims may generate headlines, but they do not become facts unless the people at the center choose to make them so. Until then, the truest story is the simplest. Two professionals who once made a resonant series continue to navigate demanding careers and complex private lives with attention to boundaries that deserve to be honored. Thank you for watching and for choosing a channel that values accuracy as much as intrigue. If you enjoy this approach, context over chaos, clarity over clicks, please like the video, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and click join for deeper dives. In future episodes we will follow new projects from Hazal and Çağatay, highlight the craft behind their performances, and bring you verified updates when they exist. Until then, keep celebrating the work and keep the conversation kind.